I'm Lisa, this is Will, this is Ban, and this is Fee, and we are the proud inhabitants of a 1920s craftsman-style bungalow. Follow along with us as we update, design, and customize it to our liking. This is our upstairs bathroom, as shown in the listing photos for our house, which really we're doing the most. While it's true the bathroom gets good lighting, this phone shot video probably gives a better sense of what it actually felt like to be in the room. As you can see, it's kind of shaped like a capital T, with a full width vanity spanning the length of the wall. Now, speaking of the vanity, I think we can all agree that the golden oak cabinetry is probably the biggest eyesore in the room. It looks pretty dated. Something about the orangey tone plus the strong grain pattern in the wood, I can't do both. However, I did love the tile floor with the cute blue flowers. Very deco inspired and perfect for our home. It just felt like the floor could be better served by giving the cabinetry more of a neutral color that would allow those blue tile flowers to really pop. We found a YouTube video showing how to refinish oak cabinets using shrink-free spackle, and we'll be going through an abridged version of that process, but I'll link to the full tutorial in the description. First things first, pop off some doors and drawer fronts and gather the following supplies. You will need shrink-free spackle, water, stuff to mix it all together, and a paintbrush to apply. Having a cat on hand is helpful, but not a strict requirement. Add water to the spackle and stir until it's all combined with no obvious chunks. You want your spackle mixture to have some viscosity to it. If it's super liquidy like this, add some more. You can see how the mixture almost has some sludginess to it as you pour it out. That's how you want it. Like, you can pour it, but it's not going anywhere in a hurry. Concentrate the majority of your strokes going cross-grain to make sure the spackle really gets into those indentations, and don't be afraid to glob it on. Again, the goal is to fill in the grain. And don't worry, you'll be sanding everything down to smoothness later on. Get the spackle everywhere, in the face profiles, the back, the sides. Get it all, take no prisoners. The only exceptions to this would be the hinges or any hardware, and you can take that stuff off in advance or cover it with painter's tape. Allow the spackle about 3 to 4 hours to dry before flipping the door over to coat the other side. For the sanding, do yourself a favor and get a power sander. This is just a good tool to have on hand, and for this type of project, it's going to give you a more even and professional looking finish. Here you can see I'm using the power sander for as much of the door as I can, even the thinner edges of the face profile. Save any hand sanding for tough to reach spots like corners, or if you need to touch up in small places. I probably spent 2 to 4 hours total on the sanding for our 3 doors and 3 drawer fronts. So in terms of time and labor, if you plan to spackle on the first day and let everything set up and dry overnight before hitting the sanding day 2, I would say it's feasible to have everything prepped for painting in the span of a weekend. Finally, we were ready to paint and the weather was in our favor. Lone Fox did a similar cabinet painting project, and we essentially copied his method. I'll link to that video, but basically, by drilling these cup hooks into the tops of our cabinet doors and drawer fronts, we were able to hang everything from a clothes rack set up in our backyard. A paint sprayer generally gives the best finish for this type of furniture painting, and luckily for us, we already had one on hand. After some trial and error, we ended up finding it kind of worked best to spray in this tightly spaced pattern of upward and downward strokes for the most even coverage and application. If you don't have a paint sprayer, don't worry, I have a workaround. So obviously we couldn't take the cabinet frame outside, and I was not up for the hassle of sealing and taping everything off in the bathroom. So to ensure we still got a professional looking outcome, we used foam rollers for the priming and painting of the frame, and then took the extra step of doing an additional light sanding pass over the primer, but before applying the gray top coat. Doing this helps ensure a smooth surface when applying that final paint color, and you can do the whole painting job this way if need be. I almost forgot to mention, if you go with the hanging paint sprayer method, remember to fill in your cup hook holes with wood filler. Ideally, you do this in advance of the all-over paintings, you can just get them at that time, but if you forget, like us, you can just get them afterward. So I was legitimately taken aback by how well this process works for refinishing cabinets. It is one DIY I can actually vouch for. Chelsea Gray by Benjamin Moore is the color. We got it in a satin finish, and it really does the job of making those blue tile flowers pop. But we were still left with this little eyesore of a mirror, and therein lied the problem. Will asked if I wanted to do the same treatment we did to the cabinets. I did not. I wanted something fresher, more modern, less closed off. We got our specs together and searched the interwebs far and wide to no avail. The existing unit was either made custom or they just aren't making medicine cabinets with those measurements anymore. I don't know. Which meant we were left to our own devices. Now, I'm not recommending that anyone try the following at home. This is just what we did. The issue was the cutout for the medicine cabinet box was disproportionately large in relation to the mirror on the front. I wanted roughly the same size mirror so that it would be all cute and framed between the two windows. So I picked out a new medicine cabinet, and Will cut down some 2x4s to kind of pad the sides of the cutout and thus enable us to screw the new cabinet's insert to those boards, to attach it to those boards. But because the new mirror was smaller width-wise, you would be able to see that behind-the-scenes action on either side of the mirror, which is no good. And no, this is not the mirror we ended up going with, but every one we tried had some amount of gapping. In any case, to get around this issue, Will got some plywood and a jigsaw and cut out a face frame to go around the mirror. We then used copious amounts of wood filler all around the frame perimeter to fill any small gaps and just to make things look as seamless and joined together as possible. And once the filler dried and we were sanding it down, oh my god, the amount of dust it generated. I don't even think this video does it justice. But then we were just left to prime and paint. Okay, so just wanted to show you guys how things turned out with our medicine cabinet installation. You can see, how things came together. And there are definitely spots where we had to do a bit more patching things together with wood filler and spackle. Up top is the one section we haven't gotten to yet. We've got big plans to replace this light fixture, so we'll be tackling that first. But you can really see kind of what we're up against with trying to marry the existing frame with the face frame. They are really not flush in this section, so it's definitely going to require, some sanding down and filling in, but I think we can make it work. I think we can make it a little better, more polished, to the point where hopefully you won't notice it too much. And I will say, I really am enjoying having this smoother, sleeker, dare I say sexier medicine cabinet. experience, so I will take it. No complaints. Okay guys, that's all we're going to cover for part 1 of this bathroom makeover, but stay tuned for part 2. We've got more vanity area updates, be doing some wallpapering and styling, adding some art, or at least one art, I promise, will be added. We're going to be doing all the things that give a space character, color, personality, the fun stuff. So be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things so that you don't miss it. And we'll see y'all next time.